Welcome to the Arthur Moats Show. So, we're going to be talking about Kevin Colbert, Steelers current GM and Vice President, and his comments that he made during a pre-combine meeting with the media. First thing he said was in regards to Antonio Brown and the trade situation. Initially, everyone was under the impression that AB was going to be traded regardless of compensation, regardless of how it may benefit the Steelers, but that turns out to not be the case. In fact, Kevin Colbert said that the Steelers are definitely open to shopping AB, and they will do so, but they're going to do it with the intent of whatever trade happening being very beneficial to the Steelers organization. He also said that they will not take a discount on AB, and they certainly won't release him. Another thing that he said was they're going to take a positive approach with the trade, but they're looking for either a significant pick, a set of picks, or a player plus picks. So when you think about all these different stipulations that are going along with it, I feel like the narrative that was created after AB sent out the tweet stating that they were both agreeing that a trade was going to be the best move going forward, I feel like this kind of changes that narrative a little bit, because when you think about them making a trade now, knowing what they're looking for, knowing that they're not going to just release him, there still is a possibility that he could return. And Kevin Colbert also stated that he doesn't feel that there is any relationship that's not repairable. And I feel like that definitely could be the case here. I still personally feel that a trade will happen. I just think that by the Steelers saying that they are not going to just give him away, I feel like that gives them a little bit more power in the situation. When you talk about his value, last video I was telling you that I felt like his value was down just because of the situation. Also knowing that he was going to have to be traded, I felt like teams wouldn't offer the compensation that you would like to see for him. Whereas now, after hearing these words from Kevin Colbert, I feel that they can set that asking price high. You can set it for what you personally feel he is worth. And we know if Martavis Bryant went for a third-round pick, you see what Golden Tate or Amari Cooper have went for as well. I feel that you know the type of player that AB is, so you should set your compensation for him extremely high, because worst case scenario is this. You don't get a trade. You end up keeping him, and say he decides to not play this season. Well, you were going to be on the hook for his money anyways. So regardless of if he was on the team or if he was traded elsewhere, that money was still going to be spent. So in that regard, you really don't have anything to lose by asking for a lot in return for him. Colbert also said in regards to Le'Veon Bell and his situation that the Steelers would not be franchise tagging or transition tagging him and would ultimately let him become an unrestricted free agent. So that is a huge development, because obviously we saw last year, or actually the past 2 years, where he had been franchise tagged. He signed it the first year. This past season, he didn't sign it. But the thought process was that he would potentially be transition tagged because the Steelers would be able to see his market, but also have the opportunity to match any offers that he received. There were still discussions about the value of that tag, but I think that the Steelers made a really good decision in this because of, one, you already have James Conner on the team, who was a Pro Bowler last year. He's still extremely young, and he's developing. He's growing, and the sky's the limit for him. You also have Jalen Samuels, who showed that he can be big play capable. He can do really good things in the passing game. You still have that offensive line intact. You still have Ben and Juju outside, and potentially AB. So you still have a lot of pieces in place that are going to make that situation for James very, very advantageous. Now, when we think about it from Le'Veon's perspective, his whole argument was that he wanted to be compensated to his full market value. The problem was nobody knew what his market value was because he was still with the Steelers. He never had a chance to negotiate with other teams. So now that he's going to be able to hit the market unrestricted, he can see if he's worth $70 million or if he's worth $30 million. I personally feel that it's going to be a very strong market for him just because of the talent that he possesses. I feel like the things that he does from a running back standpoint, receiving standpoint, blocking standpoint, I feel that he is in high regard in this league. So by him being able to hit the open market is definitely going to benefit him as well. Also, from a Steelers standpoint, the more money he makes on that open market, the better your compensation pick will be. So, if you really want the best for the organization, then you definitely want to see Le'Veon do extremely well in the open market. But going forward, man, I just really think that this move with Le'Veon, by deciding to just have a clean break with him, I feel that also benefits the team in a sense of you take away one of the elements of drama that you had to deal with over the past 2 years. Now you don't have to worry about how he's going to be received when he comes back in the locker room. You don't have to worry about if he's playing under another transition tag, what that's going to look like going forward, would he sign it, all these other narratives that could potentially be created by him coming back. So with this breakup, I feel like that lets him get what he truly wants, and it also helps the Steelers have one less thing to deal with from a drama standpoint. So going forward, I think even if the Steelers do lose AB and Le'Veon this season, they still have more than enough pieces to be extremely successful. And ultimately, I feel like the emergence of James Conner, Juju, Jalen Samuels, and depending on what they do in the draft, I think that the Steelers are still going to be right back in the thick of things and very competitive going forward. So that was my update. Definitely appreciate you watching. And until next time, peace.